My husband had to come home and help me with this. We spent around $240 to $250 more than we took in at the spring fling. And we tried to budget that event in such a way that it wouldn't be boring, that there'd be a petting zoo and there'd be fun for the kids. But we did eliminate a couple of very nice things like a moon bounce and a magician that we wanted to have, and we decided we'd stretch those out into other events over the year. Our budget plan said it would be somewhere in the neighborhood of $1,000, and what we actually spent was $1,066. What our income was $826. So for future activities, and to talk about poker, which was exactly the same day, that evening, the poker netted $250 after expenses.
Do that every week.
We could probably get people to come play poker more often, but it costs them $20 to $30 depending on how many chips they get. So, we are planning several more pokers, but we don't have a chairperson for activities right now. So I don't know what's going to happen. The committee meets on the 2nd, and we're going to try to get individuals to step up to the individual events and hope that we can get a kind of a rotating chair. So although we're asking for a planned budget of somewhere around $9,300, that does include the monies that Ray is administering for the fireworks. And I don't know if my number for the fireworks on the 4th of July is correct. But I think I put down an estimated cost of $49.95 based on his manager's report.
Plus tax. That's the contract.
Okay. Pat?
I would suggest first that we take the fireworks out. It's not an activities committee budget, it's a general budget we voted for. So take the $5,000 out of there.
It's an activity-sponsored event on the 4th of July.
Yeah, but it was specifically budgeted by the board. So if you
It
take
doesn't
that,
have to show that.
but if you take that out, then your 9.3 is less 5, right? Less
Right.
5,000. You have a $5,000 budget that was voted in the budget. And my view is, other than the board approving the activities that the activities committee is going to sponsor, so long as you stay within the budget of $5,000, forgetting the fireworks, you're okay.
Well, we think we're fine, but our numbers don't jive with John's numbers, which say that we only have $1,000 left for the rest of the year.
That's not, I'm sorry if I made that, if I conveyed that thought to you, that's not what I meant to say.
Okay.
We need to reconcile this whole thing. There continues to be confusion regarding carryover from the prior year, and we just need to sit down and spend some time reconciling this whole subject. So we ought to try to put that on the agenda here in the next several weeks or so.
Robin, how did your figures differ from Amy's?
I have Amy's numbers here. I did different pots. I did candy and miscellaneous expenses, and she gave it into each thing when she got a bunch of chips from one person. So where I had Barbara 2 times, she had Barbara 1 time. Little things, but I came out with a slightly different figure. It's not much different than she did. I think it's maybe $50 different. She had a few other expenses that I think she just stuck in the spring plan, I'm not sure, that came in belatedly, should have been submitted previously when Craig was swearing her stuff. So, anyway, so this is my guesstimate for the future, and spring fling is as accurate as I can make it. And I'd like to make a pitch that we could push all the expenses and the income for this to the gala into the same year. If we could look at the books that way, John, it would really make it easier for us.
No, I understand what you're saying.
It could be next year.
I understand what you're saying, but again, we do our books on a income tax basis, accrual basis, and when you have an event that occurs at the end of the year, or it follows up that whole accounting process, I hate to come up with a separate set of books, because I don't ever want this association to be accused of having multiple. So let's talk some more about that and see what we can do to accommodate everybody's needs. But I don't want to deviate from the overall, they call it an accounting practice.
John, couldn't it be just as simple as budgeting for that? It's just one event that's at issue.
Right, apparently.
Budgeting most of the cost for that event in the subsequent year.
Yeah,
That
that's,
would work on it.
And
Yes.
we all just need to do the
yeah,
same.
we need to get on the same sheet, that's all. We all need to get on the same sheet. We can do that, we will do that.
Robin, I have a question for you. If you could look at, maybe it's a suggestion more than a question. If you look at the New Year's Eve Gala
Okay.
as one event, you appear to have $2,850 worth of cost. Is that right? Or you are estimating
It's all
$2,850?
estimated.
Okay, so that's right, $2,850 worth of cost.
Mhm.
And then you have an estimated income of $5,250. So that's actually a big moneymaker.
Hopefully.
Okay.
They're gonna reduce, some of the very costly things.
But your projection is to make, over $2,000 from that. Somewhere
My
on
cost
this,
estimates are good.
somewhere on this sheet, there should be a projection of that being an income-producing item. There should be a projection of other events which are expense items and what the expense for them will be, and then sort of a summation of where you are in the year. I don't think you're giving yourself enough credit. For example, the profit that you intend to make on the New Year's Gala is not netted out of the $9,300 anyway.
No, nothing is real, everything is all estimated except,
But what we're looking for is a projection to the end of the year of what we're going to actually spend. And if you're going to have a big profit, you need to give yourself credit for it. So
all right.
I'm saying is there should be an accumulation throughout the year of your expenses and your income.
Yeah.
And together, those things, when they're netted against each other, should somehow come out to be about the budget that John was talking about.
You mean to project all the way through the year?
Yes.
Right.
And I think you're fine from what it's just like what you were just talking about. You look at the gala, you've got, would you say $2,850 cost and an estimated gift income of $5,200. You're making money on that. That needs to be over here offsetting what you're spending.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But all of these estimates are not yet vetted by the committee.
It's okay, this is your, this is a plan.
Budget plan.
The budget, yeah.
But I think the other point is that, if you look at where you are in a year, you're doing better than budget. Because you thought you were gonna spend $1,000 on the spring fling, and you actually only spent $240. So, I think I agree with Wayne, you're not giving yourselves credit for what you've actually accomplished.
Well, the only thing that I tried to show numbers that you all could understand, that I could understand. I told you my very first day on this board was I'm not a numbers person, was through the spring fling. If you want me to try to do that through all these columns for the whole year as just a budget plan, I can easily do that.
I would personally like to see that.
Okay.
Yeah, as best you can, and just keep it going. You don't have to,
Mike,
we don't have to be exact.
I'm already making
We don't have to be
changes.
exact. You don't have to be exact through this next year's New Year's fling,
You
but
never
as we
know
go
how many people are
along,
gonna buy tickets to things.
like you're through the spring fling of where you are. We know what your plans are. You've laid out what you think your budget's gonna be, what you think you're gonna get. And I think so long as nothing goes completely awry, which it won't, if you just keep up with that as we go through the year, we're gonna know where we are. And it looks like you're gonna be fine.
And the other thing is it might give you a better, as the year progresses, if you look at how you're doing against budget, you might be able to put those items back into the gala that you felt you had to take out.
No, we can't. The gala was a big expense last year. But they went champagne, and they drummed up huge interest.
I think Joanne's point is real, though. If you did do a running total throughout the year, and you found somewhere in maybe September that you were ahead of plan, you might change the nature of the New Year's Eve gala because of that. Make it more of a gala. Anyway, I think this is a great start.
Thanks. Thanks, Mike.